Hey, Coach. We've talked about this team being resilient, and there are some frustrating moments, but the team still held everything together and finished out with the win. Just how do you continue to see this team grow and learn and mature in different ways?
Yeah, I think the one thing you can be sure of every game is that there's going to be frustrating moments. And, how you handle those, just like how you handle the good moments, is usually the thing that determines your consistency. So, um, we didn't have Dyson tonight. I thought, again, Keaton and Hunt ended up guarding the ball more than he has been. So a lot of guys found themselves in some different situations. So I thought our execution defensively was solid. I think the more you could tell we were a little fatigued. Some of that is, when you're really focused and I think and committed to defending, takes your legs a little bit at times. But that's an area that I just think we have to continue to embrace that. Or we get into, we don't have as much variety offensively. That said, we took care of the ball tonight, and some of that's because we took open shots. If we pass up shots, usually what comes next, if you're passing up an open three, is not going to end as well as that, that three that we elected not to shoot. So, we just got to keep trying each game to execute a game plan and continue to play together. And I think a big sign for us of kind of where we are game to game is our communication, whether it's on the floor, in timeouts. I'm not in the locker room all the time, so I don't hear it in there. But I think that's a bellwether for us in many respects.
And you mentioned Garrison and Veet and Keaton, and they seem to have some really solid ball movement, particularly in that third quarter, finding those open looks that you mentioned. How have you seen them kind of grow in terms of being able to step into the lineup at a moment's notice with all of these moving parts?
Yeah, I mean, I think that's a credit to Trey and JJ too. There was a few times I think JJ had guys that were not passing up wide open shots, but sometimes to make an extra pass. And if you're the guy on the back end of that and your teammate has that kind of confidence in you, it gives you confidence. So all those guys that you named, I just want them to compete and play defensively and try to be instinctive offensively and get more guys running.
Coach, how do you think your guys handled the physicality the officials allowed tonight? Maybe at times, not getting calls when they expected it.
Yeah, you're always going to have, as a player, even as a coach, a reaction to a given play. But I think the key thing is to adjust and to not let that take you out of the next play. And just figuring out how the game's being called. And if it is physical, you're going to have to work harder to get open. You can be more physical. Don't just, look to the referees to solve that for you. And I think that's the biggest mistake sometimes we make. We give up our ability to control that situation. I think our guys have been doing better and better at that, getting to the next play.
Hey, Coach, just talk about DeAndre Hunter as he continues his great play off the bench.
Yeah, it's I never really get tired of talking about it, to be honest with you, because the things that he's done, as far as how he's playing, just his aggressiveness from three, and you saw it tonight. People start to come out on him, and then he's downhill to the rim, and the way that he's finishing and getting to the foul line, I just think his reads are really efficient right now, and that's a credit to him and kind of the plan he has when he comes in the game. So he clearly, during the minutes that he's in there, he's stabilizing. And I think on both ends of the floor, he had to guard Hero tonight with Dyson out, which is a heck of a matchup. And then he's wrestling with Bam on the post. And so I've said it before. He's a guy that, as a coach, you love to have on your team because he's just a warrior. He's a soldier.
Coach, it was a tight game with 3 minutes left. How do you pick which players you wanted to have? Because I know you're missing some people tonight. And how did they hold up offensively and defensively?
Yeah, defensively, like I said, we had the matchup that made the most sense on Hero was DeAndre at that point. And then offensively, the key thing to me is, just let's get a good shot. And as you said, whether it's, Trey and pick and roll with the 5, or Trey and JJ playing a 2-man game. There's a lot of things that are going on based on the game. And really the measure is not so much what we run as what kind of shots we get, whether we take care of the ball. And that's an area that we've continued to try to emphasize and work on. And really it's Trey's job. Once we know what we're doing to really get everybody in the right places. And I thought his presence in those situations was really good. It's a job he wants to.
When this fourth quarter maybe wasn't quite as dominant as the last 2, but that's 3 in a row where things have gone pretty well for you guys. What's been the secret for your guys' success?
I think it's really simple. I think we've gotten stops. I think we've just been able to defend during those times and then try to run opportunistically late in the game. Usually that's a point when the game can slow down, and that doesn't play to our strengths, especially if we get a stop. If you get scored on, that's a little different. Let's get into something, let's execute. But, we want to try to reward ourselves, so to speak, if we can get stops in the defensive end. But it starts there.
Hey, Coach. You played a team that's pretty frequent with their pick and roll usage, and then a great pick and roll ball handler in Tyler Hero without your best on-ball defender tonight. I was curious if you could speak to some comfortability you've seen from your guys and sort of oscillating through these different types of pick and roll coverages, whether it's blitzing, switching, hedging. You guys had a lot of versatility in the way you defended that tonight. So where do you think that comfortability is coming from?
Well, I think it's a great point. And, when you have players like Tyler Hero or Robinson, too, that can shoot behind the screen, they put you in positions where, you have to give help on the ball in the initial pick and roll. You have to be more aggressive maybe than in some situations you want to be. And that invariably that puts you in some rotations. So our guys being able to connect in those situations, and even if that's, the spacing is going to change, they're going to cut, they're going to screen. So there's variety to what they're doing off the ball. So invariably you're going to be in some multiple effort situations where you have to continue to guard. You guard the action, then you guard the next thing. Miami makes you guard them 3 or 4 times within one possession. So I just think that's a collective effort, and, us continuing to try to be disciplined with our habits.
Coach, after the last game, Jalen said that, he's going to do whatever it takes to help the team win. For you, what have you seen from him the past 2 games?
Well, just that, and I think sometimes it's, what you're capable of doing, it's the situation itself. Is there, an opening where he can go to the rim? Is the rim guarded and he's got his eyes out? And him making those reads, I think is the key thing for him. The box score on Jalen could look different every game, based on how he's being defended and how other people are being defended. And my biggest thing for him, and he knows this, is I want him to read the situation before he gets the ball and make really quick decisions. Because when he does that, the defense doesn't catch back up to him, and then you see a lot of the things that he's capable of doing. Okay, thanks.